The world watched with bated breath. People from all corners of the globe, regardless of their faith, tuned in to witness history in the making. The air was thick with anticipation, and the atmosphere was electric. In homes, cafes, and public squares, eyes were glued to screens, hearts pounding in unison. This was not just a moment for the Catholic Church, it was a moment for humanity. White smoke billowed from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel. This ancient signal, steeped in tradition, conveyed a message that transcended language barriers. It was a sign that the conclave had reached a decision, that a new leader had been chosen to guide the faithful. The sight of the white smoke brought a collective sigh of relief and joy, a moment of unity in a world often divided. A new pope had been chosen. The bells of St. Peter's Basilica rang out, their peals echoing through the streets of Rome and beyond. The sound was a clarion call, a herald of new beginnings. It was a moment that would be remembered for generations, a turning point in the history of the Church. A hush fell over St. Peter's Square as the announcement echoed, Annuntio vobis gaudium magnum, habemus papam, Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle. The crowd, which had been buzzing with excitement, fell silent, hanging on every word. The announcement was a moment of revelation, a moment of profound significance. Cardinal Tagle, a man known for his humility and deep compassion, was now the spiritual leader of over 1 billion Catholics worldwide. The cheering began, a tidal wave of sound. Flags waved, people embraced, and tears of joy flowed freely. It was a celebration not just of a new pope, but of hope and renewal. The energy in St. Peter's Square was palpable, a testament to the enduring power of faith and community. It was a moment etched in history, a day of joy, a day of hope. People from different walks of life, different cultures and different backgrounds came together in a shared moment of elation. It was a reminder of the universal nature of the Church and the unifying power of faith. For the first time, a son of Asia ascended to the throne of St. Peter. Pope Tagle's election was a historic milestone, a recognition of the growing importance of the Church in Asia. His warm smile and gentle demeanor endeared him to many, and his deep commitment to social justice resonated with people around the world. The Catholic Church had a new leader, a shepherd known for his humility, his compassion, and his unwavering commitment to the poor and marginalized. Pope Tagle's life and work had been a testament to the values of the gospel, and his papacy promised to bring a renewed focus on the needs of the most vulnerable. Pope Francis's papacy, though groundbreaking, had come to an end. His tenure had been marked by significant reforms and a focus on mercy and inclusivity. As he stepped down, he left behind a legacy of compassion and a church more attuned to the needs of the modern world. His successor carried a different history, a unique perspective, and a boldness that promised to reshape the Church for the 21st century. Pope Tagle's background and experiences brought a fresh outlook, and his vision for the Church was one of inclusivity, dialogue, and action. This was not merely a change in leadership. It was a moment of transformation, a new chapter in the long and storied history of the Catholic Church. The passing of the torch symbolized continuity and change, tradition and innovation. This was a seismic shift, a sign that God was doing something new. As the sun rose over St. Peter's Square, it heralded not just a new day, but a new era for the Church. The future was filled with promise, and the world watched with hopeful hearts. Luis Antonio Tagle's journey to the papacy was one of unwavering faith and humble service. Born in 1957 in Imus, Cavite, Philippines, he grew up in a devout Catholic family. His parents, Mario and Corazon, instilled in him a deep love for God and a profound respect for the dignity of every human person. Even as a young boy, Tagle exhibited a keen intellect and a thirst for knowledge. He excelled in his studies, graduating with honors from the Ateneo de Manila University. It was during his time at the university that he felt a strong calling to the priesthood. He entered the seminary and after years of rigorous theological training was ordained a priest in 1982. His pastoral ministry took him to the poorest parishes in Cavite, where he served with unwavering dedication and love. His wisdom and compassion did not go unnoticed. In 1997, at the young age of 40, he was appointed Bishop of Imus. 3 years later, he was elevated to Archbishop of Manila, becoming the youngest archbishop in the Philippines. Tagle's early life in Imus was marked by a strong sense of community and faith. The town, with its rich history and vibrant culture, provided a nurturing environment for his spiritual and intellectual growth. His family was deeply involved in the local church, and young Luis often participated in religious activities which further deepened his faith. His parents, Mario and Corazon, were his first teachers in faith. They taught him the importance of prayer, compassion, and service to others. These values became the foundation of his life and ministry. The family's daily routine included attending Mass, praying the Rosary, and engaging in acts of charity, which left a lasting impression on young Luis. As he grew older, Tagle's commitment to his faith only deepened. He was an active member of the church youth group and often volunteered for various church activities. His natural leadership skills and genuine concern for others made him a beloved figure in the community. Tagle's academic journey was equally impressive. He was a diligent student, always eager to learn and excel. His teachers recognized his potential early on and encouraged him to pursue higher education. At the Ateneo de Manila University, he not only excelled academically but also grew in his spiritual life. Ateneo de Manila University, known for its rigorous academic programs and strong Jesuit tradition, was the perfect place for Tagle to nurture his intellectual and spiritual growth. He graduated with honors, a testament to his hard work and dedication. It was here that he first felt the call to the priesthood, a calling that would shape the rest of his life. Entering the seminary was a significant step for Tagle. The years of theological training were challenging, but they also provided him with a deep understanding of the Church's teachings and a strong foundation for his future ministry. His time in the seminary was marked by intense study, prayer, and reflection, all of which prepared him for his ordination in 1982. The ordination ceremony was a momentous occasion for Tagle and his family. It marked the beginning of his journey as a priest, a journey that would take him to the poorest parishes in Cavite. Here he served with unwavering dedication, bringing hope and comfort to those in need. His pastoral work was characterized by a deep sense of compassion and a commitment to social justice. Tagle's work in the poor communities of Cavite was transformative. He not only provided spiritual guidance but also worked tirelessly to improve the living conditions of the people. His efforts included setting up community programs, advocating for social justice, and providing support to those in need. His dedication and compassion earned him the love and respect of the community. His exceptional service did not go unnoticed. In 1997, at the young age of 40, he was appointed Bishop of Imus. This appointment was a recognition of his leadership, wisdom, and deep commitment to the Church. As bishop, he continued to serve with the same dedication and compassion that had marked his earlier ministry. 3 years later, in 2000, he was elevated to Archbishop of Manila, becoming the youngest archbishop in the Philippines. This was a significant milestone in his journey, reflecting his growing influence and the high regard in which he was held by the church hierarchy. As archbishop, he continued to advocate for social justice, compassion, and service to others, embodying the values that had guided him throughout his life. Tagle's journey from Cavite to the Vatican is a testament to his unwavering faith, intellectual brilliance, and deep compassion for others. His life and ministry continue to inspire countless people around the world, reminding us of the power of faith, service, and love. Pope Tagle, or as he preferred to be called, simply Father Luis, stunned the world with his first major act as pontiff. His election had already been a surprise to many, given his relatively progressive views and his history of advocating for the marginalized. But no one could have predicted the bold steps he would take in his early days as the leader of the Catholic Church. He announced a radical change to the Church's approach to LGBTQ+ individuals. This was not just a minor adjustment or a slight shift in tone. It was a complete overhaul of the Church's stance. For centuries, the Church had maintained a conservative view on homosexuality, often leading to the marginalization and exclusion of LGBTQ+ individuals. Father Luis, however, saw this as a grave injustice that needed to be rectified. He called for a synod, a gathering of bishops from around the world, to discuss the issue of same-sex relationships and the Church's stance on homosexuality. This was a bold move, as synods are typically reserved for the most pressing and significant issues facing the Church. By elevating the discussion of LGBTQ+ inclusion to this level, Father Luis was signaling that this was a matter of utmost importance. This was unprecedented. Never before had a pope so openly challenged the Church to reevaluate its position on such a sensitive issue. The announcement sent ripples through the Vatican and beyond, with many wondering how this would impact the Church's teachings and its followers. Some were hopeful, seeing this as a long overdue step towards justice and equality, while others were apprehensive, fearing that it might lead to division and controversy. In his address, Pope Tagle spoke with heartfelt compassion. He did not shy away from acknowledging the Church's past mistakes. Instead, he confronted them head-on, expressing deep regret for the pain and suffering that had been inflicted upon LGBTQ+ individuals. His words were not just a call for change, but also an apology, a recognition of the wrongs that had been done and a commitment to making amends. He acknowledged the pain and suffering experienced by LGBTQ+ individuals, particularly within the church. He spoke of the countless stories he had heard from people who had been ostracized, rejected, and condemned simply because of who they were. These stories, he said, had deeply moved him and had played a significant role in shaping his views on the issue. We have often failed to see the face of Christ in our LGBTQ+ brothers and sisters, he said, his voice filled with emotion. This failure, he continued, was not just a failing of the church, but a failing of humanity. It was a reminder that the teachings of Christ were rooted in love, compassion, and acceptance, and that these values should guide the church's actions and policies. We have judged, condemned, and excluded them, forgetting that they too are beloved children of God. This, he said, was a grave injustice that needed to be corrected. He called on the church to reflect on its actions and to strive to be more inclusive and welcoming. This was not just about changing policies, but about changing hearts and minds, about fostering a culture of acceptance and love. He called for a church that was truly welcoming and inclusive, a church that embraced all people regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. This vision of the church was one that was open, accepting, and loving, a place where everyone could feel valued and respected. It was a vision that resonated with many, but also one that would require significant effort and commitment to achieve. His words sent shockwaves through the Catholic world. Reactions were mixed, with some praising his courage and others expressing concern. But one thing was clear: Pope Tagle had set in motion a conversation that would have far-reaching implications for the Church and its followers. His radical embrace of inclusivity and compassion was a bold step towards a more just and loving world. The global reaction was immediate and divided. Liberal Catholics, particularly in Europe and North America, hailed Pope Tagle's announcement as a long-overdue step towards progress and inclusivity. LGBTQ+ organizations around the world expressed cautious optimism, praising the Pope's courage and his message of compassion. However, conservative factions within the Church reacted with anger and dismay. Conservative Catholic groups condemned the Pope's decision, accusing him of heresy and of undermining Church teachings. Some bishops, particularly in Africa and Eastern Europe, voiced their strong opposition, vowing to resist any changes to the Church's traditional stance on homosexuality. The debate raged on social media, in theological circles, and in homes around the world. Pope Tagle's announcement had ignited a firestorm, forcing the Church to confront a long-standing issue that it had often preferred to avoid. Please subscribe to our channel History Documentary Hub for more insightful videos and intriguing content.